The moment Victoria discovered her husband was cheating, she tracked down Jax and paid him to seduce the other woman. Jax was good. Within days he had the girl dizzy and drifting. Victoria gave a cold laugh. Holding the trump card, she could play this hand any way she liked. Before we go on, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Victoria had been married to Marcus for 10 years. In the second year of their marriage, they welcomed their adorable son Connor, and Victoria finally owned her own children's dance studio. Career and family both thriving, Victoria felt deeply satisfied. Life, it seemed, was only getting better. That night, after coming home, Connor tore into his presence with glee. He didn't know how to work the toy and started to fret. Marcus slipped on his glasses and studied the instructions with him. Victoria picked up Marcus's phone, meaning to check the product page and solve the problem for Connor. A text popped up. Brielle, Marcus. My new swimsuit arrived. Can I model it for you tomorrow night? Hopeful emoji. Brielle. Victoria froze at the message lighting up Marcus's screen. That coy tone. Her fingers trembling. She tapped the girl's avatar. The newest text was that one. She scrolled up and found a photo, and selfie of a nubile girl in a skimpy bikini filled the screen. Bright eyes. Pretty smile. Porcelain skin. Hair like a waterfall. Early 20s. Flush with youth and energy. Victoria's breath caught. A chill shot from her soles to the crown of her head. This girl, she was the intern who'd been tagging along with Marcus lately. Victoria slid the message back to unread and returned the phone. The bathwater was just right. Wearing an ex-boyfriend's sheet mask, Victoria mulled over her marriage. Marcus was pushing 40. His hair was thinning, his gut budding. More than a decade of marriage, and she'd built the business with him from scratch. Now he had the houses, the cars, the status. But Victoria, she'd poured herself into family and career these past years. These days, she had her own little nest egg. Divorce now would mean handing over half her life's work, maybe even paying Marcus so he could keep some pretty young Brielle. Ugh. This is maddening. She yanked off the mask, crumpled it, and tossed it in the trash. She walked out of the bathroom. Marcus was already asleep, snoring loudly enough to fill the room. Victoria lay staring at the ceiling. Funny how she'd never noticed before. Sleeping next to him now felt like sharing a bed with 10,000 quacking ducks. She slipped in her noise-canceling earbuds. A random shuffle began playing Moon River. She opened her phone again and tapped Brielle's avatar. Sure enough, this was the girl in the white swimsuit. Victoria knew her. She scrolled through Brielle's Instagram. As expected, the affair had been going on about 3 months. During that time, the girl had posted meals with Marcus every so often, sirloin steak, Gillardeau oysters, champagne, pricey items. The latest post flaunted her brand new soft-top convertible. Victoria gave a helpless half-smile. Half of that money was hers. Technically, hers and Marcus's. 4 months earlier, Brielle had interviewed for a dance assistant job at Victoria's studio. Right before the interview, Victoria ran into her in a mall restroom. Brielle was on the phone, snapping at some mom. Listen, I'm not your babysitter. Don't expect me to watch your kid. Then she hung up. The woman behind Victoria started badmouthing her daughter-in-law. Can't look after the baby. Won't quit her job. Always out having fun. Brielle chimed in, trashing her own a friend. She wants to be a hot mom, but won't take care of her kid. Like that's even possible? And she keeps asking me to go on getaways. Girls lost her mind. Turned out that our friend was Brielle herself. Victoria smiled faintly, left the restroom, and later sat in on her interview. Thanks to that attitude, Victoria's first impression was lousy. She rejected the girl again and again just to be difficult. Looking back, how stupid she'd been. Victoria flopped onto the bed and stared at the ceiling light. If only she could rewind time and slap her old self. Then tell Brielle, you want to be a mistress. Be my guest. I won't stop you. Just leave my family alone. But there are no do-overs. Right now, Victoria was the one indirectly financing Brielle's affair. She gave another wry, bitter chuckle. Was there still a way to fix this? Bit by bit, a plan for payback took root in her mind. Next morning, Victoria laid out Marcus's favorite outfit, a violet polo, navy slacks, and those monogram logo sneakers. He always thought the look shaved off years. Maybe, though it also screamed midlife crisis. He dressed, adjusted his reflection, and fastened his $500,000 timepiece. I'll probably crash at Dave's tonight. You know how these dinners go. He brushed a kiss on Victoria's forehead and left. He took the priciest car in the garage. Victoria exhaled. Risking everything for a girl like Brielle, was it really worth it? Victoria skimmed the morning papers as usual, then dropped Connor off for his immersion class. After that she drove east alone to meet Reese, a classmate she hadn't seen in years. The man she wanted was a male pretty boy streamer. Victoria walked past one streamer studio after another, eyeing several handsome guys. Some played cute, others showed off a husky voice, flexed muscle, or flaunted dance moves. But their hunger was too obvious. They knew exactly what they had and were desperate to put it on display. Victoria slipped quietly quickly down the corridor and ran into Reese, who invited her to lunch. Inside the elevator, she received a voice note from Marcus. Victoria, I won't be home for dinner. Client meeting. His tone was fake and oily. She snorted. Drop dead out there so I can inherit everything. The doors opened and a man stepped in. White shirt unbuttoned to the sternum, exposing a broad swath of bronze skin. Sleeves rolled to the elbows. Thick, powerful forearms on show. Light gray dress pants made his legs look endless. With those wild, chiseled features, he could have been a Chris Hemsworth double. He nodded and smiled. Hi. His voice wasn't the gravel she expected. There was a surprising softness. Glancing at the panel, he asked, which floor? 23. He pressed the button, then politely let her exit first. When a stud that hot offers you the elevator, you take it. She nodded back, stepped out with grace, and memorized the nameplate on his door. Jax. He was the one. Just then Reese caught up, face serious, and tapped her shoulder. Jax is off limits. He's not right for you. Why? He's got an STD. Victoria blinked, then burst out laughing. So they thought she was a sugar mama shopping for arm candy. Chapter 6. Victoria's investigation gave her Jax's whole file, age, alma mater, employment history. His family wasn't poor. He'd graduated from a top university, served several years in the military, then, for personal reasons, tended bar before turning to streaming. Plenty of exes had schooled him. Experience ran in his veins. She texted him and set a meeting. 3 days later, he showed up on the dot. Plain white t-shirt, ripped jeans, beat-up sneakers. No jewelry except the newest Rolex Submariner on his wrist. Simple clothes. But his phone was the latest iPhone, handled with the ease of habit. Smart guy. Victoria thought, stays ahead of the curve. By plan, she took him to a luxe mall in Beverly Hills. Bought him several pricey outfits. Booked the trendiest haircut. Then toured a 200 square meter penthouse in downtown Los Angeles, 28 grand a month. Jax trailed her through every room, dazed. Only when she spelled out the job did surprise flicker across his face. You want me to seduce this girl? Victoria nodded. Play trust fund prince. Chase her. Make her melt. When it's done you keep the penthouse plus 200,000 cash. He stared at Brielle's photo and his eyes went wide. After a long beat he agreed. Victoria rang the agent, locked in the 3-month lease, and slipped an extra 20 grand as commission. She called Jax again to remind him of the deadline. He answered with a quiet assist. Next she rented him a Lamborghini Gallardo, perfect trust fund flex, several notches above the usual sports car. When the key hit his palm he looked ready to lift off. He took it for a quick spin. All swagger. Victoria murmured. Temporary wheels, no bragging posts. Jax nodded solemnly. Then she marched him to Brielle's gym, Skyglass, an all-glass facade studio downstairs from her office. Victoria settled into the cafe opposite, watching through the wall of windows. Brielle was inside in neon leggings, jogging steady, milky skin, sweet face, innocent at a glance. But the body told another story. Curves for days. From the back she looked like a centerfold in a church choir. Half the floor hovered nearby, some lifting, some pretending, all staring. One guy approached. Brielle gave him an Arctic once-over and kept running. He slunk away. Jax strolled in and claimed the treadmill beside her. Less than a meter apart, yet never even glanced her way. It didn't take long for Brielle to show interest in Jax. She deliberately splashed her glass of ice water across his chest. Jax glanced at her, but still didn't speak first. So Brielle used the accident as an excuse to walk with him down to the basement garage. Victoria had told Jax to park the Gallardo right next to Brielle's soft-top convertible. When the two of them stepped into the parking level together, the look in Brielle's eyes shifted noticeably. Marcus and his little side piece Brielle were still meeting constantly, and more covertly than ever. They didn't seem to be restraining themselves one bit because of Victoria's setup. The first week flew by. In those 7 days, they saw each other 3 times and checked into 4 different hotels. Jax and Brielle also added each other on social media, smooth as silk. Week 2. Brielle invited Jax to spend the day at Starlight Amusement Park. Apparently she planned to play the pure innocent card and have a sweet, Instagram-worthy romance. That day Brielle carried a Chanel bag. While they rode the pirate ship, the safety bar beneath the seat somehow ripped a huge gash in the leather, maybe on purpose. Jax seized the excuse, took her to the boutique, and bought her a Lady Dior priced at over 40,000. When Brielle saw the bag, her eyes went wide as saucers. That night Jax walked her home like a gentleman, yet he didn't escort her to her building, only to the complex gate, because downstairs waited another man obsessed with her. The guy's name was Zach. He lived in her tower, and he worked as a procurement manager at a tech company. He and Brielle had met on a dating app. Zach had showered her with luxury gifts worth nearly nearly 100 grand. Later Brielle decided she didn't want to date him and demanded he take every present back. Zach refused, so he camped outside her lobby every day, threatening to call the police unless she reimbursed him. That night he was there again, lying in wait. The moment he saw Brielle return, Zach rushed over and tried to drag her into the shadows. Brielle immediately cried to Jax for help. Jax yanked Zach away and asked if she was hurt. Brielle shook her head. Picture perfect pitiful. Her acting skills had leveled up again. Now she looked exactly like a beleaguered ex trying to escape a stalker. Jax struck while the iron was hot and suggested she stay at his place. Brielle accepted with coy reluctance. At 2 a.m. Jax texted Victoria, "Boss, she's officially moved into your 200 square meter penthouse." Jax really knew his craft. In a little over a month he had Brielle on a leash. Of course Victoria's funding helped. Jax had that rugged heartthrob vibe young girls couldn't resist. Add Victoria's limitless credit line for constant gifts. And Brielle was dizzy with delight. Brielle was now Jax's girl, yet she still kept seeing the older man Marcus. Clearly she intended to fleece both of them. One afternoon Jax asked Victoria to meet at the tea house. He had something to discuss. When Victoria arrived, Jax looked radiant. Life was treating him well. He played her a voice note Brielle had sent. "Baby, I don't want to go to work today. I'm so tired. Will you take care of me?" Comfort had made her lazy. She didn't even want to clock in. Jax asked, "Boss, should I say yes?" Victoria answered, "Tell her to quit. You keep her." Marcus and Brielle took a trip to Lake Tahoe for what they called a conference. They strolled the exhibition arm in arm like lovers. No shame at all. Victoria and Jax watched from a shadowy corner while the pair cooed at every booth. Out of town, with no one to recognize them, they saw no need for discretion. That evening, per plan, Jax waited below their hotel clutching a bouquet of roses. He called Brielle. "Babe, I'm downstairs. What room are you in again?" Earlier she told him she was away for work and even texted the hotel address. She never expected him to fly out. She had just showered when his call came, her face drained of color. She told Marcus to keep bathing while she threw on clothes and slipped downstairs. In the lobby, they kissed passionately, each hiding a separate agenda. Jax pressed to go up to her room, but Brielle claimed she was sharing with a colleague and asked him to book another. She said she needed 2 or 3 more hours for work. Then she'd join him. Jax agreed and followed her to the new room. When Brielle returned upstairs, Victoria tailed her and saw her swipe into 8514. 20 minutes later Jax had room service deliver the roses to 8514. The bell attendant pressed the buzzer. Inside, Marcus barked. "No, we didn't order anything." The attendant glanced at Jax. He signaled her to ring again. After 3 chimes Marcus yanked the door open. "Are you deaf?" I said. It was the first time Jax and Marcus had come face to face. And Marcus clearly knew nothing. Jax's face was ice. He shoved the roses into Marcus's chest, then slammed a fist into his jaw and knocked him flat. Without a glance back, Jax strode away. Victoria changed clothes and took the elevator down. Brielle chased after in her bathrobe. Victoria lingered by the curb, smoking with deliberate boredom. No matter how solid Brielle's nerves were, she couldn't talk her way out of this. She racked her brain for a story that would cast her as the helpless little Lily. She ran to Victoria in tears. "Victoria, listen to me. It's not what you think." Victoria looked at her coldly. She knew she was holding the winning hand. She could play Brielle any way she wanted. Brielle wept that her family was poor, that Marcus had tricked her. She told Victoria she had never been interested in Marcus, that he had kept pestering her. Victoria stared at her with contempt, wondering how her brain worked that she could spit out something so shameless. Victoria ordered her to call Marcus right then and claimed she already had a boyfriend and to tell him to get lost. Brielle stood frozen, too scared to make the call. Victoria knew exactly what she was weighing. Marcus was her boss, and Jax was only a brand new boyfriend. In Brielle's eyes, Marcus was the cash cow who could promote her and raise her salary. Jax was just a toy she kept on the side. Brielle was afraid of angering Marcus and losing her job, and equally afraid of angering Jax and losing her backup plan. After thinking it over, she dialed Marcus. Victoria let out a cold laugh, hung up, and walked away. Brielle quit her job to make the sugar baby setup look more convincing. Victoria had Jax hand Brielle $80,000 in spending money the very day she moved in, promising that if she stayed obedient, the allowance would only grow. Sure enough, the moment Brielle saw the bank alert text she was giddy, dragging Jax straight out to shop. Once the two of them were gone, Victoria let herself in with the spare key. When she saw that every prop she'd prepared was still in place, the stone in her chest finally settled. A man like Jax, battle-scarred from every pleasure den in town, was someone Victoria would never fully trust. He was no saint. Faced with Brielle's youth and naivete, he might just flip the the script. At the end of the day, Brielle did have some charm. Victoria would need a backup plan, just in case. Chapter 13. When Marcus came back from Lake Tahoe, he spoke less. Glued to his phone, Victoria sneered. A man past 40 still believed he'd found a true love. Pathetic. Marcus discovered that Brielle not only had a boyfriend, but that the boyfriend had beaten him up. There was no way he could swallow that. He stormed off to confront her, only to learn she had already blocked him. The realization choked him. In a fit, he called the police, claiming his car had been stolen. The Porsche 718 was registered in his name. Brielle was hauled to the Los Angeles Police Department, and Jax showed up on some flimsy excuse. Brielle, have you no shame? You gave that car to Victoria. How is that theft? Brielle shrieked, finger stabbing toward Marcus's nose. You kept harassing me, and when my boyfriend saw it, he beat you. Serves you right. Then Victoria's phone buzzed with a call from Jax. When the line went dead, she felt only hollow emptiness. Brielle had vanished from Marcus's side for good, yet Victoria tasted no victory, only a dull, heavy sadness. She stayed out late and came home long after dark. Marcus sat in the living room, nursing a glass of whiskey. She walked over and sat across from him. We need to talk. Marcus looked dazed. About what? Victoria slapped a thick envelope of photos onto the table. About these. One glance and Marcus's face drained of color. No, honey, let me explain. He never finished. The words dried up, his expression stricken, nothing left but apologies in his eyes. Marcus, we've been married 10 years. She enunciated every word. Gaze glacial. You cheat behind my back, then trick me into transferring the car. How could you do this to me? The more she spoke, the more wronged she felt. Memories of every concession she'd made poured out in tears. At the sight of her crying, Marcus panicked. He dropped to his knees with a thud, arms wrapping her legs. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. Please don't cry. Only then did Victoria realize this tough guy could weep too. All night long he clung to her legs begging for forgiveness. She knew his remorse was real, at least for now, but men have short memories for pain. Later, alone in the bathtub, she thought for a long time. Finally she texted Jax, moved to the final phase. The next few days Marcus was on his best behavior. She and Marcus no longer shared a bed, but they still took Connor out together. To their son, they were simply mom and dad who loved him. Marcus was trying, really trying, no longer disappearing the way he used to, carving out every spare minute for her and Connor. One afternoon, they took Connor to the aquarium to watch the dolphins. Mid-show, Marcus's phone rang. Victoria saw Brielle's name flash on the screen. He shot her a jittery glance, answered, then quickly hung up, head down. He went back to making Connor laugh at the dolphins, as if nothing had happened. She had already spoken to Jax. He had long since vanished. For weeks Brielle had been dizzy over Jax, understandable. The man had the talent. Once Jax disappeared, Brielle realized she'd been played. That was why she'd been calling and texting Marcus non-stop. He hadn't answered a single one. That night, fresh from the shower, Marcus opened his texts in front of her. Marcus, I'm pregnant. If you want to know whether it's yours, come see for yourself. Marcus snorted. Some dogs never change. She claims it's mine. Hell, I could claim I'm her daddy. Look in the mirror, sweetheart. After Marcus showed Victoria the text, he dialed Brielle straight away. I'll wire you the abortion money, but stop harassing Victoria. She doesn't have time for your games. His tone was ice cold. The line went dead the instant he finished. Then every contact path to Brielle hit his block list. Victoria thought the curtain had finally fallen. Days later she was on the couch watching cartoons with Connor when Marcus stepped out. His phone chimed. An anonymous text. Marcus, want me to air your dirty laundry to Victoria. Half an hour. Swan Point Park. Don't show and the whole town gets the highlight reel. P.S. Brielle's still waiting in the lake, threatening to drown herself. Victoria's face darkened. Marcus knew about her germophobia, knew she loathed being touched. To prove his innocence, he begged her to come with him. They reached Swan Point Park after dusk. Brielle waited in a dim, deserted pocket of the shore. Her eyes were red slits, hair wild. The moment she spotted Marcus, she shrieked. Marcus, you promised you'd take responsibility for me. If I can't have peace, none of you will. Her voice carried. Victoria heard every syllable from the car. When Brielle noticed her behind the windshield, she sprinted to the passenger window. Bitch, get out. What gives you the right to sit there? Trash. Crawl out here. Fight me if you've got the guts. The curses grew fouler. Marcus frowned and barked at her to stop. She escalated. Fed up, Marcus slapped her. Brielle froze, stunned silent, and watched as Marcus slipped back behind the wheel and drove Victoria away from the water. All the way home Marcus apologized. Baby, I swear I've learned. It'll never happen again. Honey, I messed up. I'm sorry. I regret everything. I let impulse win and I dishonored you. Dishonored our family. Victoria answered without looking at him. Fine. Noted. When Brielle's call came, Victoria's lips curved upward. Hello? What will it take for you to let Marcus go? Brielle's voice was steady, but Victoria caught the tremor beneath. You should ask Marcus, not me. Name your price. How much to walk away? 5 million. Victoria laughed. You think you're worth that? I still have proof of Marcus cheating. With cash. He'll stray on command. Victoria nodded. That footage is useless to me. Try your luck. See if it scares me. Aren't you afraid I'll blast it to your staff? Do it. I've been meaning to announce that we handle our mess in-house. Besides, everyone already knows my husband cheats. One more clip won't crash the business. Victoria kept her tone light, utterly unbothered. Send it and I'll own it. My company isn't public. A bad press doesn't dent the balance sheet. Underestimate me and you'll learn I have countermoves. Victoria smirked. I've got your whole file. How you lured Marcus into bed and milked him for cash. I also own the videos of you, Marcus, and Jax. Brielle's voice cracked. What are you saying? Isn't it obvious? All those clips of you with Marcus, with Jax, I own copies. Keep pushing and your coworkers get front row seats to your after-hours antics. You wouldn't dare. Why wouldn't I? You threatened first. I'm just returning the favor. Oh, and Jax has an STD. Victoria hung up and blocked her. Honey, you're home. Victoria stepped inside to find Marcus in an apron. The dining table crammed with dishes. She sat and stared. The stare unnerved him. Everything okay? Brielle just phoned. Called me every name in the book. Told me to drop dead. Victoria shrugged theatrically. But I gave as good as I got. Told her you cheat and she's infected. Marcus froze. Features twisted between tears and laughter. She has an STD. Victoria nodded. Marcus lost it, appending the entire dinner onto the floor. He muttered curses at Brielle. At Jax. Non-stop. Victoria said nothing. She simply went upstairs. Minutes later Jax texted. Just landed from Florida. No reply. Then he called. Victoria let it ring out. From that moment on, Victoria severed every line to Jax. She yanked the SIM card. Tossed it into the hazardous waste bin. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, smash the like button and share it with friends. We can't wait to read your take in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates. See you next installment.